This brainstorming of assessments came directly from my scale for presentation of knowledge and ideas, where I took the four speaking and listening standards within the research unit and started brainstorming how I would assess these targets in the order that I put them from most cognitively complex to what I would call most simple in terms of retrieval execution. So I used my scale, but I also used the Marzano taxonomy, in particular, trying to focus in on the mental processes and the question stems to kind of help me think about what I want students to show me in terms of these learning targets. So as I started going through my targets, going from simple to complex, I really started thinking about what I was going to be looking for with students. So, in terms of outlining ideas and ensuring organization and development are appropriate to the purpose and audience, I really want them just to practice outlining. And that outlining can look a lot of different ways, from formal outlining to maybe more mind mapping. Then I started thinking about this notion of making connections between multiple sources and articulating alternative opposing perspectives when addressed. The 12th grade research unit, where the presentation standards are embedded, is rooted in argumentation. So I need to make sure that they're addressing multiple points of view, claims, and counterclaims. So I'm going to have some organizers that are going to help them place their research to be able to analyze and make connections between multiple sources, and really some kind of reflection questions I might ask them in terms of the research that they have created. So I come up here into my learning goal target, which is actually giving a TED Talk. Um, Down here I've given some TEDx teen talks and talk like TED cheat sheets for them. But really, when I talk about doing this, this is the product that kids will produce. The assessment that I'm going to use is going to show whether or not kids really have hit this learning target with some reflection questions here. Now, one of the things I know is I want kids to give multiple talks on this. Too many times I feel in my past I've had one and done assessments with kids and not giving them time to polish. So I really want them to give these talks multiple times to multiple groups of people so they can work on polishing. And then I started thinking about my cognitively complex target, or let's say a kid used a PowerPoint or a Prezi for their first run of their presentation and they've shown mastery of that. I'm going to ask them to use a different format, maybe an iMovie or a podcast, do some sort of replication using a different form of media, and have them really compare and contrast which one was more effective after they initially chose their first format and going into the second format. So this is my thinking for how I used my progression of learning, my learning targets, to really start brainstorming my assessment, formative and summative.